The game Orcs Must Die. Death Trap begins with a simple claim: Orcs must die. This claim has long been substantiated in the works of Machiavelli, Tolkien, and in international relations simulators, where any party moving through a narrow inconvenient corridor automatically becomes orcs. Death Trap merely clarifies the method. The player assumes the role of a hero who, judging by his behavior, previously worked as a lecturer in defensive doctrine, but was dismissed for excessive use of spikes. His weapons are secondary. His defining trait is faith in infrastructure. He doesn't shoot orcs, he channels them, like a diplomat who is very fond of pits. His name is probably Magnus, or Max, or perhaps this is Max Payne after taking engineering courses and developing a healthier relationship with floor-mounted saw blades. Orcs Must Die. Death Trap asserts that the world is built in corridors. There is an entrance, there is an exit, and inevitability in between. Orcs are not enemies, but a form of matter in motion. They flow. You cannot negotiate with them, because they already made their decision somewhere at the level design stage. The only way to hold a dialogue is to install a spinning blade trap and wait for a response. Enemy waves arrive on schedule, like economic crises. You know things will get worse, but you hope your previous upgrades will carry you through. Sometimes they do, and you feel like a strategist. Sometimes they don't, and you find yourself wondering, was I even the one who was supposed to fix all this? Death Trap features cope, which tells us something about trust. Trust in the game works the same way it does in reality. You hope your partner will cover the left flank, but instead they install trampolines because flying orcs look funny. In the end, the system becomes stable, but for reasons no one planned. This is called synergy. It has been confirmed in chess, StarCraft, and all news feeds simultaneously. Character progression resembles the development of a protagonist in a coming-of-age novel, except instead of moral choices, you decide whether your trap will shoot fire, arrows, or philosophical disappointment. Upgrades are not always logical. Why the ceiling suddenly kills more efficiently than the floor remains unclear. Possibly a reference to social hierarchy. The traps in Death Trap look like household objects that have had military careers. The floor is just a floor until it starts shooting. The ceiling is a ceiling until it falls. The wall is a compromise. Traps are placed before the wave begins, symbolizing planning the future based on mistakes that haven't happened yet. You stare at an empty corridor and already know where it's going to hurt. In that sense, Death Trap is closer to everyday life than to tactics. When the wave starts, the orcs run. Some run faster because they invested in mobility. Others move slowly because they carry armor and historical context. You watch this and realize that balance here is not mathematical but ethical. Your task is not to destroy the orcs. You must wait until they forget their purpose, until their fate intersects with the traps you so wisely placed. Sometimes the game allows you to activate a trap manually. This is the moment of the illusion of freedom. You press the button, and everything happens exactly as it would have without you, only louder. A similar principle is used in elevator buttons and democratic institutions. Special praise should be given to the design of enemy intelligence. Orcs are not afraid of fire until it deals damage. They don't see traps until they trigger. This is not stupidity, it's optimization. The game saves their thinking power because it already knows the outcome. The orcs themselves are diverse. Some are fast, some armored, some look like they wandered in from another game. Possibly World of Warcraft 3, Frozen Gate. They carry themselves with confidence, as if they know what awaits them. This makes them especially tragic. Sometimes an orc flies into an abyss and it looks like an independent choice. But why don't orcs, seeing their brothers fall, change their route? because the route has been approved, and whoever changes what has been approved forgets that falling is also part of the path. Death Trap appears chaotic, but in reality it is strictly structured, like a poorly translated philosophical treatise. You understand individual paragraphs, but the overall meaning arrives later, usually when everything has already exploded. In this sense, the game is honest. The interface suggests you are in control. Numbers go up, icons flash, traps unlock. In reality, control is illusory. You are merely styling the catastrophe a little better, but the game rewards you for it with experience and currency, which means it was all worth it. The final conclusion is both simple and complex. Orcs Must Die. Death Trap is a strategy game, an action game, and an unintentional commentary on how humanity solves problems. We build corridors, set traps, and are surprised that the flow does not stop, but the interface is convenient, the music energetic, and if you upgrade the ceiling properly, things get a little easier. That was probably the creator's intention, or the creators, or the algorithms.